Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's been a very long time and it is time to start planting. Well, I started early and I started sowing seeds in my greenhouse back in December. Probably a little bit too early, but it is time for me to put a lot of these plants in the ground. And I've been waiting for the last frost date, which is, I think it's March the 15th in my zone 9A. But the 2-week forecast shows we have no more temperatures below 47, which that can always change. But I have several perennial flowers that need to get in the ground because they have outgrown their containers, and I have potted up to bigger pots, some of them, and it's time to get them in the ground. So I want to show you what I've got going on in my greenhouse before I start planting these, and I've got lots of different varieties of stuff I want to show you, so let's get started. This is the front of my greenhouse. I still need to paint my bench, and these are a couple of clematis that I have purchased from Home Depot. This one started blooming yesterday. It is absolutely gorgeous. I do not know how to pronounce this, but it looks extremely healthy, and I'm going to get this in the ground sometime this week, maybe tomorrow. And this one's not blooming yet, but it's called Pink Fantasy. The leaves are much tinier, and I don't see any buds yet. But let's take a look at my greenhouse from out here. I have some plants hanging in the windows just for some beauty from the outside. I think it's really pretty, and I put these in containers back in the fall, so I had pretty color in here all winter long. And I have a fan going because it's really hot already. It's too hot for my plants. I've had to move some of them outside out of the heat, but I watered them and put them back in here so that I could make this video. Let me start off by showing what I've done to help with the heat. I don't have an exhaust fan yet, but I've installed a shade, some curtains, to help minimize the heat in here from the afternoon sun, because it blazes from this side over here, as you can see. And I can slide them. Let me go ahead and do that. Let me show you how I can manage these curtains by sliding them back. Sorry, hard to do this with one hand, but I've got a curtain rod up here that's attached by, I think that's 16 gauge wire that we put in. And this one over here is just the wire attached with some hooks. This one doesn't have a lot of weight on it, so it doesn't need the tension that the upper one needs. So we tried using just the 16 gauge wire at the top, and it was so much weight from the curtains that it was pulling on the wire and it was sagging really bad. So I installed this regular curtain rod up there. Let me pause this. I'm going to pull the curtain back over for shade. Okay, so these are the plants that need to be put in the ground. I've got two different types of marigolds down here. Getting really tall. These are very tall. I've got a Kilimanjaro white. That's these, and then this is just some seed that I collected from my marigolds last year, and I didn't keep the package, so I don't remember what they are, but they're like a yellow marigold. Let's see. These are some petunias. I'll show all of the packages of my seedlings that I have planted. But these are petunias. I think it's a Super Bismuth petunia. And they had fantastic germination rate. I have since uppotted these into a bigger container because they were just outgrowing. You can see they need to be put in the ground. So these down here. I have 12 of these seeded, and then I've got some more in smaller containers that are not quite as big yet. These are some autumn fire sedum that I propagated, and they are growing nicely. And these are some Walker's Low Catmint that I propagated as well. Down here are some propagated coleus. I have a vast variety of colors here. I won't go over all the names, but I basically just cut all of these before the fall, before the cold winter hit in the fall. And then I rooted them in water, and once they grabbed hold of that and had roots, I put them in soil. And I've lost a few, maybe to too much watering, I'm not sure, but I've got a good little stock right here to start with. And then these are some hosta roots that I planted. They were bare roots. They're doing okay. And this is some pink columbine. These I actually received from somebody in the mail, and I don't remember what the name of it. It's like a pink with a white edge, or a white with a pink edge. I don't recall, but they germinated for me. I'm really happy. These are the only columbine that I could get to germinate. So I've got several up here that won't germinate for me. So basically all of these trays right here, I have seeded 2 and 3 times to try to get these to germinate, and a lot of them are foxglove and columbines, and then there's a couple other things in here that are actually starting to possibly germinate. These columbine, I'm not going to go through all these, there's just too many for me to look through, but there's a couple in here that I've sown with different seeds, like a rudbeckia that's starting to germinate. Now, these all up here are looking fabulous. I've got a huge variety of different flowers. Some dahlias back here. These are called Black Forest Ruby Dahlia. First time I've ever seeded dahlias, and that's kind of surprised me. I didn't think I was going to get any germination. These need thinned out really bad. These are a rainbow celosia that I planted from seed that I collected. This is okay, so I seeded this tray with some of those pink columbine, and they wasn't doing anything. As you can see now, I've actually got 2 of them that germinated after I actually put these petunias. These are some more petunias that I stuck in here from the other container. I needed to thin them out, and I didn't want to toss them. I hate tossing seedlings, so I've got some extra little Super Bisma petunias in here. And these 3 back here, these are the Snow White Delight hibiscus. I collected seeds from my hibiscus last year and really didn't think they were going to do anything, but they surprised me, and all 3 of them germinated. So got some little hibiscus growing here. These are some rudbeckias, Goldilocks, and they did really well. There's a pretty good germination rate in here. These are the stock. I think it's a white stock. It's called Infinity Snow. Yep, these are the white ones. They look really good. Really good germination rate. These are Gaillardia, Arizona. I don't remember what the name of these are, but they have a very good germination rate as well. Arizona apricot is what those are called. This one looks like I've got about 5 of them. 5 out of the 12 didn't germinate. But these are Thunbergia, black-eyed Susan vine. Looks like they've got maybe a little bit of chlorosis going on. And I have been using seed starter fertilizer, so I'm not sure why they're not looking like they've done enough. And this tray I seeded twice because you can see I've got smaller ones and then a couple big ones. This is from some pink basket flower seeds that I collected last year from plants that I'd grown in my raised garden area. So I guess that's not too bad. It just took me a couple times to try to get enough flowers to plant. This is some coleus. I've got 2 trays of coleus here. This one's called the Pinto Mix. I got this from Baker's Creek, and it's not the great either. I've got maybe about 4 trays that didn't germinate, but these are really pretty. Taking forever to take off, but they're starting to get some nice sized leaves on them now. And this is the Rainbow Mix coleus. These had a lot better germination rate. And I think I got this packet at Walmart actually. And somehow got a little celosia in there. I think that's the bleeding heart. Love Life's bleeding. So I don't know. I got some seeds that did this. This is my Love Life's bleeding right here. Little tray. They're looking really good. It's about time to get these out of this container down here. And these are some double diamond pearl yarrow. I don't know why this whole side over here germinated. This side I put some more seeds in and got maybe a couple tiny ones in there, but these didn't do as well as I was hoping. And this back here is another Walker's Low that I had propagated, and it's got a lot of growth on it already. I propagated that back in the fall. All right, back over here. Look at this one. This looks really good. This is, let me see, king size silvery rose straw flower. Had a really good germination rate on these. And I need to get these in the ground. I'm thinking the roots are probably overtaking the little containers. And I've got 2 trays of this. It's called Peppermint Sticks Zinnia. Usually I don't plant zinnia. I don't seed them early. I just plant them in the ground. But I had extra trays and I wanted to get them started anyway, just because this is my first year with a greenhouse and I wanted to enjoy and see what I could accomplish. And this is another tray of the petunias. I've got the tag somewhere on one of them, but I'll pull the packet out in a little bit and show you. Let's see, over here, this is just my houseplants. Well, most of them, I call them houseplants, but they generally stay in my back patio because houseplants don't do well for me in the house. They die. It's not humid enough in my house, I guess. So I'm not going to go over them. I'll just show you what I've got in here. This I pulled out of the ground. It was my peace lily that I stuck in the ground last year, and I pulled it out just because I was afraid that our frost might kill it. So it's in here in a container. I will stick it back in the ground, and then this will go back in the ground. This is a white bird of paradise, and so it's this huge one right here. It'll go outside. I won't put this one in the ground though because it's so big. It'll stay in the container. And from what I understand, they like to be root bound. They like to be in the roots in a really small spot. So it's doing good. It's healthy, and it's in here because I didn't want to lose it in the 20 degrees that we had. See, got a little orchid down here. I don't really do well with orchids, but I found this on clearance I think it was late summer, and I went ahead and bought it. And it has not bloomed for me. I don't know if it ever will, but it's doing okay. So all of these things will eventually go back out on my patio, probably within the next week. This I'm going to put in the ground. Can't remember what it's called. I had one in a container on my back patio. Plectranthus Mona lavender. I had the same exact one last summer in a container on my back patio, and I absolutely love it. It's so pretty. The color, the dark foliage with that really, really pale colored lavender. It's really pretty. Let's see, over here, I had a lot of things on this shelf over here during the winter because the heat wasn't blazing at the time, and plants were doing really good. But now that the heat of the day is over here, it is burning the containers, and I think it's probably hurting the roots. So I've moved all my plants, all the ones with these little trays over here. It was actually starting to warp some of these because it was so hot up against the sun over here. So I moved all that stuff over so it gets afternoon shade. These are just my little fairy garden containers that I made a few years ago. I didn't really have anywhere to put them. I didn't want to leave them on the patio in the 20 degrees because I was afraid I'd lose them. So they're in here. And depending on how hot it gets, they may stay in here all summer. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And over here's my cute little setup with my petunias. Let me shut this door a little bit so I can show you. And I've got some snapdragons up here. Isn't this just adorable? A little sign. And it's just really, really pretty. So if I've enjoyed having these, and they put a really nice scent off. So I've had some color and some scent in the winter time. So I've loved coming out here in the winter and just enjoying being out here. Let me show you my, I think it's called a Mother of Thousands. I need to cut it back, and I will once this bloom head is done, but it's gotten very, very leggy. So, and they propagate really easily by just cutting them and stick them in the soil. As you can see, the seeds, they just start growing little babies. I guess that's why it gets its name, Mother of Thousands. But I've had it for a couple of years, and it's never bloomed. But I have a little bloom. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's blooming. Try to get it in the light so you can see it. These are just really cool looking flowers. I've never seen this before, and I'm enjoying it. I don't know if you can see it with the lighting in here. Let me go ahead and show you what I've planted, because I almost forgot to add this in here. So these are the white Kilimanjaro marigold. These are these Super Bisma Petunia Cernes Triumph mix, and it says that these get 5 to 7 inches big, the flowers. So I'm really excited to see what that's going to look like. Also, I noticed that some of my footage was a little bit blurry when I was filming over in that area, so hopefully you kind of made it through that whole blurry episode until this point. Sorry about that, though. Okay, so the king size silvery rose, straw flower, infinity snow stock, double diamond pearl yarrow, Gaillardia Arizona apricot, the pinto mix coleus, and this is the rainbow mix coleus, the black forest ruby dahlia. How pretty that is. These right here, I do have some germinating. Not very many. I did check under these quickly, and those, I've got 5 of those out of, and that was actually a second sowing because they didn't germinate the first time. This one I had 0 germination. Very disappointed in these, and I don't know if I have any left. Yeah, I've got a few in there, but I did sow those twice and no germination. This one I had 2 germinate, 1 did not make it, and the other one probably won't make it either. I think it's, let's see, this one right here. Sorry, that's the chimney. I did have, okay, so chimney, I had 2 germinate, this one died. And then the other one is cherry right here, cherry brandy, 0 germination. So this one, 0 germination. This one, 2 germinated, 1 died. So if that helps you out with what you decide what you want to buy, I didn't have any luck with those. Okay, so these are the peppermint stick zinnias. Very good germination rate. The black-eyed Susan vine. The Goldilocks rudbeckia. These were doing really good because I've started in another container, and they are germinating. A little bitty in there. That's these right here. Okay, the Love Lies Bleeding Amaranth. I called it a celosia earlier. I meant amaranth. That is what is in that container right there. Okay, let's see. The pink basket flower, these were from last year. I collected seed, and I had halfway decent turnout. They didn't really look that great, but I think I got 5 that germinated. And then these are the rainbow sherbet celosia. That is this, and those seeds are from last year that I collected, and so those are very good germination rate on those. These are the ones that I'm not doing, that are not doing well. I had 2 of these germinate, and I even put them in dark for like solid dark for several weeks because it said they needed darkness to germinate. So I did that, kept them moist. I had basically 2 germinate, and they're super tiny. They haven't done anything, so they're probably not gonna do anything. Okay, I had 0 germination on these. Last year I did have a couple germinate for me, so this is a new seed. This is a new packet, so it's not from last year, but 0 germination. 0 germination. All of these foxglove, nothing. Spent a good amount of money on these foxglove seeds, and I got 0 to account for. And then my columbine seeds, I even put these in the refrigerator for about 3 or 4 weeks because it said they needed cold stratification, and 0 germination. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on. I can't not get these seeds to germinate for me. I did get those pink columbine to germinate that somebody sent me in the mail, but yeah, none of these. That's basically what all these are. They're not germinating. All right, well, that's what I've got going. Let's give another. Let me zoom out a little bit and turn around, show you what I've got going in here. My husband just put these shelves on the bottom about 2 weeks ago for me, so now I have room up off the floor to put my containers. And since this side's so hot, I moved everything over here that, I wasn't worried about it getting too hot. And then over here, this new shelf, he put the shelf in for me as well. So I decided to move my plants over here so they get their afternoon shade. But these are going in the ground very soon. Let me show you this shelf up here. I'm asking my husband to build me an extra shelf up here. Well, he didn't really have to build it. I basically just painted a 2x6. And I didn't paint it, I stained it with the same color as this. And I bought these shelf brackets off of Amazon. They are a wrought iron, and they're the copper color, the copper shade. And the copper matches my red cedar stain really, really good. It brings out the color in it. So just a little shelf to put some little knickknacks on. Really, really like it. My little swinging frogs. Let me back in here a little bit. Real quaint, so cute. And I'm still going to find a dresser to put right here. Something that'll fit this little area. Just something with some shelves in it so I don't know, I really don't need it. It's something that I just want because I think it would look quaint in here and charming. Let me go around the back. I'm going to close this window and show you what it looks like with the window shut because I don't think I've showed that in a video yet. Got some little curtains up. They look really cute blowing in the breeze. So my window, I have to come out here. I have to unhook it from the inside, and then I have to come out here and connect it to this hook up here to let some air in. And then that's what it looks like shut. So I go inside and I hook it so that it stays closed tight so nothing can come in during the in the evening or during the night when I'm not out here. This is an area I just basically did. It didn't take me very long at all. But this is what I was talking about in one of my videos, that I wanted to create a live fence over here. So these are Rose of Sharons that I cut last fall, and then I put them in water. I had about 7 of them, and 5 of them took root. And my chat GPT says that in my climate, these should actually reach about 3 to 4 feet by the end of the summer. I don't know if that's possible, but he says it is. And one of the reasons was because this one was full of flower buds, which I went ahead and pulled off so that it can focus on root growth. This one I left one of the flowers on because I wanted to see if it would bloom. But these are, I took these off of my Rose of Sharons over on the south side of my house, and the flowers on that Rose of Sharon are like a double flower, a very pale pink, very pretty. So they should get I'm thinking about 10 feet, maybe 10 to 15 feet tall. And they are deciduous. So I also picked up a couple of sweet olives because they're evergreen. And I really should have got at least 3, maybe 4. So I think what I'm going to do is pick up 2 more of these. They're not a bad price. It was like $24 each. So I think I'm going to pick up 2 more and then space them in between each of these 5 Rose of Sharon so that I have evergreen color all year long during the winter. You know, not just bushes, shrubs that look dead during the winter. Just a little bit of extra color back here. And all of these, when they fill out, I'm hoping that it will provide a screen from the barn. And I think it's going to look absolutely fabulous. It might take a few years, but it's going to look really good. And these get 10 to 15 tall, I think. Let's see. Yeah, 10 to 15 feet tall by 8 feet wide. So I think what I need to do is to pick up 2 more, just so I can have a screen that flows. But if you've seen my past videos where before we did anything out here, this is a huge overhaul. It looks completely different. And I'm so happy with this. This is where I'd love to spend my time now. I have to try to not spend too much time out here because I neglect the other areas in my garden and they still need my loving care. So I still have to, I can't forsake everything else for this greenhouse. But I'm so happy with this greenhouse. It's I've been wanting one for a very long time. I need to get an exhaust fan in there so that it can help pull some of this heat out in the summertime. That's what it looks like with it closed. I picked up these windows at an antique place. That window and then the 4 windows right here that I had my husband stack 2 there and 2 there. And then the door I got from a Facebook Marketplace. And I'm very thrilled with how my greenhouse is, how it looks. My husband did a fantastic job on it. I could just spend all day out here. Absolutely love it. Let me show you one more thing before I end this video. These are plants that I had in my greenhouse during the winter because I didn't want them to die. A couple foxgloves that I picked up from a nursery about 6 weeks ago. But I have water out here now. So I didn't have any water in this area, and I was having to drag my hose all the way from over there. I can see where I'm at in the sun. But I had to drag a hose all the way from over here, and it was coming out here, and I was dragging it over everything. So I had my husband tie into our water line that he connected it to those water spigots that he put out there for me a couple of years ago. So now I have water way, way out there in my woodland garden, right here in my raised garden, and then he teed it off to the line and brought it under here. And now I've got water out here, and I'm very thrilled because this makes it a lot easier. We didn't plan to put water in the greenhouse. I don't have room. It's not a massive greenhouse. It's a 10 by 12, which is pretty good size, but I don't want to take up extra space by putting water inside the greenhouse. It's not necessary. I don't need it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and maybe this will give you some ideas, what you can do in your greenhouse. As far as my curtain goes, that might give you some ideas. And just, the setup. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting my channel. And hopefully I'll get some more videos out soon. I know I didn't put a lot out last year, but maybe I can get more out this year. Show you some stuff I've got going on behind the greenhouse and all too. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.